Alright guys, welcome back to another video. We're going to be doing Legion Remix this time. Now, obviously the PTR for it's already gone and over with, so I can't just go in the game and show you guys this stuff. But I do have footage that I can just show you here and on WoWHit. Although, I really wish WoWHit would have like a interactive tree like they did all the other talents. Nonetheless, we have it here and we can show you what it is. And we're going to rank it on a tier list. Obviously, you click the video for it. Make sure you like and subscribe, guys. We've hit 1,000 subs. I made a video on that earlier this week. Thank you guys for all the support. We're just going to keep climbing, see how high we can go. Again, this is just for fun. We're not doing this too seriously, but thank you guys again. I appreciate all the support. And I hope you are looking forward to the midnight announcement tomorrow as much as I am. And of course, Legion Remix. I'm done with retail WoW until probably like beta or something like that. We're just going to be doing the remix from here on out whenever it comes out. So that's what we're going to do. All right, so we're going to be covering the Legion artifact abilities of Legion Remix. Obviously, Legion's gone and gone. So we're going to be covering these 5 abilities in general. These ones are mandatory, so you're going to get them anyway, and they're just kind of quality of life stuff. Those aren't the ones that make you OP. These are the ones that make you OP. And of course, these. Now we're not going to be covering these talents because at max level you're going to be able to pick and choose because they're going to be on your artifact, your trinkets and jewelry, so you can just mix and match whatever it is you want. So they're not that important. However, you can only branch out into one of these at a time. So these are the ones that are going to matter the most. I'm going to be ranking them based on their usability, their damage. Now I'm going to be doing DPS. So if you're tanking healing, your tanking makes sense. I don't know why you're healing. Anyway, so you can only branch out to one at a time. We're going to be doing the damage profile that they have. But even though it's not that important, the usability, if it breaks, obviously it's going to have a low rank. How good is their capstones? Like how good are these? These things enhance them. And then of course the last one is their utility. So how do they match with these talents that they have, even though they are going to be available in your trinkets and stuff? Like what do you have when you branch out into the tree without actually having to mix and match stuff? Like it'll take some of that stuff away. Take some of that choice away. So yeah, okay, we're gonna go ahead and do Call of the Forest first. All right, this is the tier list that I'm gonna do. There's only 5 talents, so this won't take too long. Now Call of the Forest, I am going to rank in A tier. Now if you don't know what Call of the Forest is, Call of the Forest is basically Call of the Forest is basically Super Stampede. Let's see. Where is it? What did it put on? Okay. It's all the way up here. Okay. Call of the Forest. You summon the forest of denizens that charge forward. It does a lot of damage. Now, these things right here, these are all the major talents that match to it. So, Souls of the Call, this is basically just passive damage. Exploding Eagles. Super cool. And then there's a defensive note. High Mountain Fortitude. It's basically a defensive thing. The more damage you take over time, you get that as a barrier. So, super powerful. Waking Frenzy, it's just stacking damage stuff. But this is the one that actually matters for all of these talents. The one for Call of the Forest is called Dream Weaving, and that recharges your abilities 100% faster, and you recover 10% of your class resource. Now, if you're a healer, this thing is insane. It gives your mana back pretty much instantly, all of it. If your DPS is not really that powerful, if you're like a warrior or you have rage, you're constantly just spamming more buttons, or if you're an arcane mage, this is pretty much insane. So this is what Call of the Forest is. And it looks like this. So you just call like a whole bunch of stuff coming out. Me and the druid here are using it, and this is what it looks like. So yeah, this is one of the examples. Let me show you another example of what it looks like. Let me see here. All right, here we go. We're gonna skip over to 5.17. I have these all kind of worked out. Like I said, I can't show you an example in game because obviously it's over. And this is what it looks like if you're in a little area. This is what it looks like in like a huge pack of mobs. Have it here. That's what it looks like. It looks super cool. Pretty awesome. All right, so I'm gonna rank this ability in A tier. Now the only reason I ranked it that high up is because one, it's a targeted directional ability. It would be S tier if it wasn't. Like if it follows where a character looks and faces, it wouldn't be in A tier. It'd be in S tier. Also, number 2, not a lot of people need the class resources for the capstone. They don't matter that much. However, in the specific cases, like, obviously, like if you're an arcane mage or healer, that is insane. However, I don't think it's that high of a priority. Like, you just want more damage in general. Okay, so for my next one, it is going to be Twisted Crusade. Now, Twisted Crusade is this Felguard thingamajig. Now, what Twisted Crusade does, let me show you. Let's skip over here. This is my Survival Hunter that I played. This is one of the abilities. Okay. Oh, wait, this is the monk. I'm sorry. Let's see here. Alright, here we go. Yeah, I'm just pulling it up from my videos that I did. Okay. Alright, just ignore the errors, but this is actually what it does. If you see these comments, if you push the button, you have actually another button that you can press once you press it, and I don't show it here because this was the first time I used it. Just ignore the errors and stuff. This is just from one of my old videos. And the good thing about this ability is this Dreadlord that you summon follows you around, and after a certain amount of time, about 5 seconds or so, it starts pouring down meteors like crazy. So let me show you another example of it. If I can just go up a little more to over here, 1658. That's what I wrote down. Yeah, over here. And now I'm going to show you the secondary ability. Now, that's the secondary ability. I don't know if we missed those. Go back a little bit, okay? See that little button over here? I pressed it. Now, what it does is it kills the Felguard. And whatever time remaining left on it, it's just going to like pulse AoE lightning, green lightning all around you, and it does insane damage. So that is what Twisted Crusade is. And remember, it follows you around. It doesn't have any kind of like there's no positional requirements. It just follows you, and then wherever it is that your target is, wherever your target is that you're hitting, is just going to rain meteors down. So I'm going to put this in S tier because no positional requirements, super awesome Fel Spike ability. It's just pure damage. It doesn't really kind of like do anything with class resource or anything like that. It's just damage and damage. And then of course the some of these talents that lead up to it are also really cool. There's also the Call of the Legion. It also summons like a sorcerer guy. I don't know if you just saw it. It also does like it summons a guy, it shoots your enemies. It's just damage over damage over damage. And then these are just, you know, I am my scars, touch of malice, and it's just damage. There's nothing fancy about it, no gimmicks whatsoever. It's just pure damage. All right, now the third one is going to be Naran's Everdisk. All right, let me show you what Naran's Everdisk is. All right, so this is going to be Naran's Everdisk. I pulled this from my marksman video, and I'm going to show you what this is. All right, see that little orb that I just pushed? That orb over here? Now, what it does is if you activate this ability, that orb is going to flush out. It's going to swing out. It's going to come back 3 times. And each time you catch it, it does more damage going out. And then on the third time, it does the maximum damage. And then it comes back in. And the third time, it explodes around you for damage. And then it shields you also. And it gives you like 30% haste. However, there are a lot of problems with this ability. If you're rooted and you can't catch the orb, you are completely screwed. That's not even the worst part about it. All right, let me show you another example. There's like 4 videos I have on this. Over here. It has a lot of bugs. You see that little orb coming back? Now I'm touching it. Nothing happened. It didn't go back out. It didn't do anything. It just disappeared. That was the second go around, I think. And let me show you another example over here. Oh, that's the Windwalker one. Let me show you the Frost Mage one. All right. Let's see. All right, over here, you see, I pushed it out. It goes up. If there's an obstacle in the way, it bounces between them sometimes, and it doesn't go back to where you want it to hit. That's not even the worst part. This one is the worst part over here. All right, now I'm gonna. You see this? You see me just shooting it out right now? I pushed it out, activate the ability, and it just stops completely. That was one bounce. It was supposed to do it 3 times. Yeah, this ability is, at least when I tested it on the PTR, is completely broken. It is going in F tier. Now, on top of what is broken about it, it's also not very good. Because, yeah, the Arcane Inspiration, the capstone talent for it looks pretty nice, right? 30% haste. But you gotta understand, when you're already that powerful at endgame with all the gear that you have, you already have 80% haste. You are already going mega fast. 30% on top of that, you're not going to notice that much of a difference. There's like a break point to where you should get more power. 80% haste on top of 30% isn't going to do any real kind of a... Sorry. It's not really going to do much to you. You won't really see the difference. So it's kind of bad in a way. Not to mention some of the talent notes that go that stretch out to the capstone on this talent row aren't that great. You have this defensive talent that Arcane Aegis, Arcane Ward. Yeah, they're not that great. They're just defensives, and you know, one of them requires you to move backwards. You have to press your S key. Yeah, you actually have to literally backpedal just to activate one of them. And then another one requires you to stand in combat. You definitely don't want to be doing that in Legion Remix. And I'll get to why in the bottom one in the next talent below. And then the others are just, you know, there's another defensives. So reduces their attack speed. Okay, cool. I mean, yeah, it's a debuff for the enemy. And then this just to generate damage. But Lorenz Everdesk is probably the worst talent in Legion Remix at the moment. Unless Blizzard fixes it. Yeah, I think even if they do fix it, like the positional bugs and the broken bugginess that, you know, it just doesn't work half the time, it's still at best it'd be C tier. But right now it's an F tier. I'm sorry, it's a bad talent. It just needs to be reworked. All right, the next one we have is Tempest Wrath. This is the Storm artifact. It's on the 4th talent tree, the one next to bot, and I'm just going to show you what it does right here. It's going to be in my red video. So my red video over here, I'm just going to show you what it does. Okay, so this probably is the only one that favors melee the most. However, I want to say, even though it does favor melee, let me just show you what it does. We're going to pull all these guys, and I'm going to activate this ability, Tempest Wrath, and you see this little debuff up here. Now, the capstone will spawn these orbs, and every time it's whenever it's active, you see it keeps going up, even though it disappears. Every time you pick up these orbs, it extends it by like 2 seconds or so, and it does insane damage. It is just crazy damage. Even on single target, it's insane damage, and the cooldown is really short. See, it's only like a minute. Don't forget your remix time to just lower it even more. So yeah, it's really short cooldown. It's just pure damage. So really cool. But that's not even what sets it up to be really good. This is what sets it up to be really good. All right, so there's just generic other damage modifiers, and then there's like a stacking bonus. You know, this one's not that great because haste, again, like I said, woo, more haste on top of 80% haste is yeah, I guess it's cool. Yeah. This is what makes everything pop. Don't even worry about Brewing Storm. You're never gonna want this talent. Storm Surger, you may move while casting. I know it says it here too, but Brewing Storm requires you to stand still. You don't want to stand still when you're playing Legion Remix if it has the talent. Storm Surger, this is what makes this so good. Tempest Wrath is going to stick all the way up into A tier because even though you're ranged, and this is really favoring melee, remember, you can move while casting if you talent into this row. Just go in the melee range and just spam your abilities and you're moving constantly. You're going to want to be moving anyway because this does more damage when you move. Yes, you are ranged, but you can move while casting. So it doesn't matter where you cast from. This is absolutely awesome. Tempest Wrath is probably one of my favorite ones. Alright, so for the last one, I have Vindicator's Judgment. Now, Vindicator's Judgment, it's going to be mainly in my Destro video. So here, let me show you at 25 seconds in, okay? Now, this is a very unique one. Okay, so just before I even start the video, Vindicator's Judgment has 3 toggles. Like when you saw the Twisted Crusade and stuff like that, you activate it once, you activate it again, and it kills your Felguard. Yeah, this one has a replacement, and then the replacement, it changes 3 times when you press it. So here, I'm going to slow it down for you. Now, I'm going to activate my Vindicator's Judgment here, and what it does is put a solar beam, you know, like a Druid solar beam, except the solar beam does some super massive damage. So you see what it does? Okay, now I was too fast here. Let me show you again. Now I pressed my button and it turns into this button. Now what this button does, this next button, okay? It's called Lightbound Passage. Basically what happens is if you press the first button, Lightbound Passage makes it so you just step into the beam of light. You pretty much dash there and then you just massive AoE damage whenever you do to anybody in your path. Okay, so you see, it's basically a dash. You saw me just jump in there. And then the last one, Echo of Light. Basically what this does is a disengage back 15 yards and you're safe, basically. But you got to remember where you are. Your positioning matters. So like me, for example, since I'm a Destro lock here, I got a little confused because, you know, I'm not used to disengaging as a Destro lock. It's not even a disengage, more like a blink backwards. And if you see those orbs, yeah, you see those orbs that are just lying around down there, like by these tornadoes? If you step into these orbs, they actually do damage to the enemy and also heal anybody around you. So, Vindicator's Judgment is S tier. that is my tier list. Oh, and I forgot to mention all these other ones. Generic damage on healing, or generic damage on healing, generic damage on healing, and super shield when you drop below 40% health every 1.5 minutes. So that, you know, that's all the artifact abilities that are in Legion Remix. Just a pretty quick little walkthrough about it and the tier list I made for it. So this is what it's gonna look like, at least in like in a PvE environment and stuff like. Well, obviously it's all PvE, but this is what I think the abilities are ranked in Legion Remix. So thank you guys for watching. I know it's a relatively short video. There's not much going on, so I just wanted to make something. Yeah, I'll see you guys in Legion Remix, guys, and please Blizzard fix this thing. This is awful. This is really, really bad. All right, guys, I'll see you guys later, and I'll see you guys in Legion Remix.